What's up, everyone? I'm CL Connolly, and today is day 9 of me reading prayers from my disciples' Doctrine. I am a horror author who writes slasher novels, and I have created my own cult along with its own Bible, which is the Disciples' Doctrine, because God's followers are his disciples. So that's what they're all called in my cult. You're all called disciples. And today I will be reading the prayer for in times of trouble. So this one says, God, I have problems and pressures that are overwhelming me. My leader is teaching me to seek you when I am in troubling times. The outsiders are mocking your teachings, and I am having trouble bringing them into the city of God. Take away my guilt and failure and reassure me that this trouble is only temporary. Give me the joy that comes from learning about the promised land and know that my time in the physical land is limited. Renew my devotion for you and the knowledge that without you, I would be lost. I am a disciple of God and I will appease you in worship. Okay, so it mentions outsiders. So outsiders are basically anyone who isn't within the city of disciples. There's a whole city. So outsiders are like, anyone who's not following God from the disciples' doctrine. And if you're not within the city of disciples, then you are considered as an outsider. So that's what an outsider is. An outsider is just someone who needs to be converted as a disciple. And the disciples are meant to actually go out and find the outsiders to recruit them as disciples for God. So that's how that comes. And then they have to come onto the, into the city of disciples, which is basically their compound, which has a wall all the way around it and a big wooden gate. So outsiders are not allowed to just walk in. They actually have to be brought in by another disciple. And they don't just leave, if that makes sense. So there is a whole world that I have created within this cult, and I love it so much. So my Affair series was my first series, and I loved that series. I loved those characters. I was actually kind of glad when it was over. I was sad at first because I was like, oh, these characters. But then when I started writing more, I was like, okay, I'm glad that's over. I don't know where else I could go with these characters. So I'm glad that it's done. There's only 4 books in the series. Now, I do have 4 books in the cult series and then the Bible. So it's kind of 5. So it's 4 that's actually the story. And then the 5th one is the Bible. So it's going to be like an accompanying novel or novelette because it's going to be really small. I don't know if it's a novelette. I don't think that's novella. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh, my brain is not working today. But anyway, so it's going to be like an accompanying novella that goes with the cult series. And then how I want to do it is that the Disciples' Doctrine itself is only going to be available through me. So you can only get it on my website, or you can get it from me at one of the events that I'm at. But I want to make sure that the Disciples' Doctrine is something that you only get through me. So it's like a special edition type deal. I mean, it's still going to sell with the actual cult series. So once I get all 4 books from the cult series done, then it will end up being in a box set with the cult series. And the cult series will be a little more than the Affair series, only because of the fact that there are more books in it, if that makes sense. So right now, the Affair series is $45 on my website. All of my other books are $10 on my website. If you go to Amazon, you cannot get a box set of the Affair series, but you can get each one of the books for $15. But anyway, so make sure you check out my website for all my other books. So far,